Welcome to Big Man Technique of the Week. Uh, I know I've been putting a lot more content on my pages in regards to my gaming, and with things going on, having did a lot of martial arts stuff myself, injuries, things being closed down. As you can see, I'm here in my garage, and I'm able to do some things. Wish I could do a little bit more. Probably should do a lot more. But regardless, because of, like I said, what I've been doing on my page, mostly gaming stuff, I wanted to go ahead and show you all some grappling things. What I will be doing today is a simple choke from Side Control with the gi with my dummy here. I know people have mixed feelings about using grappling dummies and things like that, but as you can see right now, I'm going to be able to use it to show a technique, and more importantly, I can practice going through the motion on certain techniques. So this choke, I'm going to show you all two variations of the same choke, bread cutter, paper cutter, or simply cutter, whatever nomenclature you're used to hearing it. And if you are a upper weight guy, this is a fairly simple, highly effective choke that also won't put you in a lot of dangers going for to attempt it. Because a lot of times when we go for like joint locks, like Kimuras, Americanas, things like that, we get too far over our opponent's chest and they're able to roll us away. But this is a nice choke that you should be able to get fairly easy. And then I'm also throwing a choke at the end that you can do with or without the gi, depending on how you set it up. So with my good old dummy here, what I would like to do, now mind you, obviously, because it's a dummy, I can't, it's obviously a lot lower profile, I can't get in the direct position I normally would on a person that's normally my size. But ideally, let's say you're in a good side control position, this arm is up here, you have a hand under the head of your opponent, you're down, you know what I'm saying, got alive toes, chest to chest, not too far over, and you're here, this, your forearm here is controlling this person's hip, you got a knee to other hip, right? Let's say we have all that squared away. What I like to do to set up the choke, and really what made me think about this is there were some guys a couple months back that was, I could tell what they was trying to do with the other variation of the cutter I'll be showing as well. But, you know, it's a lot longer, and if you train with guys, they've obviously seen the setup before, so they're not going to necessarily fall for it. So what I like to do, and the first way I was shown was, you would take this far hand right here that's normally on this person's hip, because you have this arm controlled, and I'll be a little bit out of posture position, that way you can see what I'm doing, is you would take this hand here, right, and you would slide it under their arm, grabbing the collar here, right, getting as much as a collar as you possibly can here in your hand. Now, depending on what your opponent has going on, and what I like to do too with this arm here, that's normally under the head, I like to control this forearm. It's something that you learn in wrestling. But if I'm controlling that arm, they still, and with this arm up, it still makes them harder for them to roll out away from me or roll into me, because I have control of how I want the situation to go. So anyway, like I said, this is what I like to do. This is a lot faster. So anyway, so I'm back here with this arm, and I'm normally like this here. Hopefully you guys can see it pretty well. But I'm normally like this, and my opponent's head, as I can see here, so it's typically up. Once I'm here, depending on how big the person's head is compared to the length of my arms, if I can grab some of their collar, I can, also depends on how tight their gi is, I will just pop my elbow out let their head hit the mat because they went flat anyway, and then come across here for the choke. If this person obviously, if they had a chin and everything, I might need to, when I come across, I might need to knife edge with my hand here, even when I have the gi, and drive it down, or use it to put them up, put their head a little bit up. A good way to help that is like even when I'm like this, well, some of my opponents, I'm controlling their head with my own head. So I can easily have that chin pushed up. But like I said, it's fairly simple. Like I said, once I'm here, and then I got this tight. If they don't know what they're doing, they're still trying to figure out how to get out. And it's typically always a lot faster motion than this. But pop this out, bring it across their jawline, and go ahead and apply the choke. Being a bigger guy, I just go ahead and lean into it. Can't really notice that motion, but what I'm doing is, if my knees are still on the mat, if this is a person that's not too big, I'm sitting there and just lifting my knee up and just driving forward in a more or less Superman position. I want to still have my head like down on their chest, but I'll be leaning a little bit this way. Not too much, because you don't want to worry about getting rolled, but just a little bit like that, right? Applying the pressure right across. That is one way you can do it. You can also just, if you're here, let this go, big old swing around, and then capture it that way as well. You can also, if you felt like you needed to, once again, you still have the same grip here. If I'm here controlled, if I needed to pop this arm out, and if the person was looking the other way facing me, if I needed to knife edge across the jawline to get under the neck to get here, you could. The issue is like I said, if you're not controlling the forearm, like how I do and the way I just showed it, the person will be trying to defend the choke right away. So, like I said, normally I'm here with it, I'm controlling this arm, and I have this grip. They can't really do much here, and it's more or less, if I'm here and this gi's a little bit loose, if I can just get a little piece of it, I'm out and I'm around. That's one way I like to do it. Another way, some people are shown as well of setting it up, is with the far side lapel here. They normally take the lapel, lift it up, slide it under my opponent's arm here, and then, so now I got this nice little piece right here I like to grab, right? I'm still controlling here. Doing this also, because of how the gi thing is, it controls your opponent's arm, so they're not necessarily able to bring it back down to their side. I mean, they can still go this way, but they can't go where they think they want to go with the arm. And from here, lift it up a little bit so you guys can see. And from here, what you want to do is just, once again, if this is up here, good position, you want to pass it to this hand. So then I'm digging through here, deep in, and then I pass it. So now I'm like this. Now I have the grip with the collar, just like that. So once again, I'm here, depending on what you want to do. I like to go ahead and take this. If the person doesn't have a big enough head, pop my elbow out, swing around, boom, go ahead and get the finish here. And then, like I said, if I'm grabbing, I need to, because I'm already, bigger guy, that strength, then go ahead and lean that weight onto him. You get the tap relatively fast. Obviously, dummy doesn't play tap, so it won't tap for me. But like I said, you have that there, or even if you did, you can sit here, and as worry about everything that's going on, if you needed to, even let's say you didn't have your hand under the head, if you go ahead and do it, if you swing around, grab it like this, and maybe track them. A lot of things too is I like to do is when I have this right here, I always like to act like I'm attacking the forearm, because a lot of times people won't pay attention and they'll lift their head up or their neck will be exposed, and then so while they're doing that, I'll just act like I'm doing this the whole time. They'll lift their head up, slide my arm back, boom, get the tap. That way as well. So that is something in all big guy repertoire I believe we need to have, especially because we're doing a lot of things with the gi and just controlling side control for us in general. A lot of us are like turtles when we get on our back and we don't know things to do or how to move and stuff like that. So this next choke I'm going to show you, called it a windshield wiper choke. And we get that from side control by our opponent being a little bit overly aggressive. So if I reset my dummy here, and you don't need the gi for this. It makes it a little easier. I'm going to take it off. Now, obviously, because you don't need the gi, does not mean that you couldn't hit this with the gi on. So, once again, if we're in basic, good side control position, and this is something that you typically get for a lot of guys who want to use too much strength to escape and not enough technique and have their arms extended. You know, beginning guys, if you see in this, you never want to have your arms extended at any length of time, because people will get it. And like, so, and as I show this, just giving a quick answer to a lot of people, yes, you could use this opportunity to grab and strengthen for an arm bar. Yes, you could use it to get the Kimura grip, lock them down. Yes, to those questions, and depending on who I'm going against or whatever, I have went for these certain moves. But that I just mentioned. So, like with this, right? So, like I said, if everything is good enough up tight here, and then my opponent attempts to shrimp into me, right? Because that's what they want to do. Now, but let's say they shrimp into me, and obviously it's a dummy, so the elbows are pretty bent. But let's say they had their arm straight, right? What I wouldn't want to do is typically, because what they'll do is they'll put their hand like right here on your face or something like that, as they're shrimping up, because they kind of want to try to mean mug and push you off, right? What you want to do, just ignore this here, and you know, accept the best I can do here with this dummy. But so why do I want to do this? I want to either, you know, try to I'm not gonna do like this because it's gonna hurt, but I can look away as much as I can to go ahead and let them pass with the arm, so they think that they're good, because they'll think they're getting more here in their side control, and go ahead and capture right up under here, right? Now, once again, trying to show this part like here in faster motion. As soon as they get ready to shrimp this way, and their arm is going here. Typically, what I prefer to do while they're doing this is I like to come around this way. So as they're pushing this way, I like to bring my arm under and around to capture. But sometimes I don't have that option, and then my arm is already, like here, because it was a good side control position, and the person pops up and their hands are right on my face, and I know this hand's here, I'll just go ahead and move, and then you'll see it'll naturally, for the most part, fall right there. But even if it doesn't, what you want to do is get right here, get as elbow deep as you can with the choke, act like you're locking up a rear naked with that one. You can go behind your head if you want to. You don't necessarily need to, but you can sit there and squeeze. I mean, or you can even have them go back flat to the mat, and that way you got more weight obviously directly on their chest. That's gonna make it hard to breathe. And as you sink your hips back, you're gonna naturally lift their head and make the choke tighter. Because you can even see with the dummy here, right? If I'm here with it, and then as I sink back, the head naturally comes up, right? So I'm here, squeeze, and you can get your tap. I have hit that on a lot of guys at my gym, and they can contest to that. After I was shown that, because it's just so easy to do, because people don't sit there and think. And a lot of times is, if you have short arms, it's not a move that a lot of short arm guys will do, even though they can do. It's just, of course, where your grip is a full arm bicep type thing. How wide the person is. Because most of the time when people bridge and they're kind of like this, smaller guys will go ahead and capture the arm, spin the arm bar. A lot of times I have, as soon as the arm has came up, you know, I blocked at the wrist because I've seen what was going on, and then laid them back flat naturally. Sometimes they're on the way up and you may miss, and this is something else you guys can do, and I like setting it up from the far sidewise. I'll show you. Is a lot of times the person will pop up and they'll keep they'll keep their arm right here, and then they'll just have it pinched. And more or less, like I was setting up the other thing, I just set up an arm triangle, because while they're here, I just move my head up, and I just slide it over, and then I'm here, and then kneel across, and then get to wherever it is I need to finish. Either it's here. I mean, I've caught people one arm before, but I need to grab the bicep here. Need to gable grip here. Need to lean a little bit more forward in. I do that as well. And that's typically what I go for when my opponent recognizes what I'm doing and go flat. So, like I said, guys, I've done this too before tons of times. As soon as I go and I'm here with it, they'll just go flat, and then I'll just switch to an arm triangle versus hitting a good old choke, windshield wiper choke. But I hope you guys can implement those into your arsenal, especially the cutter choke. If you're a bigger guy, smaller guys, you can hit it too. Obviously, you would have a lot of success with it. It's as you see, it's a low risk, high reward situation with the choke, because you're not going to have to necessarily give up bad position. Let's say you do everything you need to do to right, but you can't get really under that neck, and you just got more or less pressure on that jaw. You know, if you're in a point tournament, I mean, you're going to get an advantage for it anyway in most tournaments. And, you know, if you're up, you can just hold and ride out points, and the person they have nowhere to go. Once you have that locked up, they're just pretty much going to be hanging out there. And there'll be a situation too is where you don't even have to worry about using all your strength. If you couldn't get it where you wanted to for the sub, just hold them there, they're not going to be able to move. And then the same thing with the windshield wiper choke and everything else. Because, I mean, another way too, there are times that I'll purposely go from here and then go like this, where a person thinks that they have something, and then they'll go ahead and go this way. And then, like I was saying earlier with my arm, I'll just slide it around and then capture here, and then I can hold it up here. It'll go flat to the ground. Or like I said, if people are stubborn enough in their hands here, I'll just push this here and block it, and then put my head down, and then go for the arm triangle. So you guys have a couple things you can play with now, make it your own style, however you want to do it. Thank you guys for checking it out. If you like what you see, go ahead and share it around. If you have critiques, obviously, I'm not a top ranked contender out here. You know, put the comments in below, share your own videos and add it. You know, this is how we all get better. So anyways, thank you for checking it out. This is how you become legendary and greatness is earned.